All right, so tokens. We'll probably get to that. Okay. So with token-based, again, something you have proves who you are. All right. Normally, we use what's called a two-factor. This is sort of the most secure thing now. That's where you have to have something and you have to know a secret. So if you look at your bank, if I log in from a strange computer, or if I log in from the same computer, log in. So if I log in from a known computer, and I have a little box on my bank, I'm sure yours does too, like this is a computer I use all the time, this is a secure computer. ODU does it too, like this is a private computer. So if I log in from a known computer, plus my username and password, that is okay. All right? If I'm at an unknown computer, it may have me do additional secrets. So that's where it asks you like your security questions sometimes. Or it may actually do something like send a text. Because your phone is also something you have. Does that make sense? And they'll also do it to email addresses, but that's not as secure. Okay. What? Yeah, sometimes they do emails too, but the thing is if you get totally hacked, the hacker is going to control your email account too, so that's not really secure. You want to set this stuff up beforehand. Right. Yeah, the hacker will get in. Yeah. And then what else was I going to tell you? Oh, that's why the phone is set up beforehand, and those security questions are set up beforehand. Because normally, well, yeah, if you get hacked, well, if they get a hold of your password from the other way, then they won't know these additional secrets. And that's why the secrets have gotten crazy. Hopefully they aren't using like, what is your mother's maiden name? It's kind of obscure, weird stuff. And some people, to be additionally secure, is they don't actually put the real value in. So it says like, what is your mother's maiden name? And you have some password you put in there. It's not your actual mother's maiden name, because that people can look up. But this is far more secure, where they just send a text to your phone. Does anyone have that on like Google or anything like that? That's a pretty useful thing. If you keep your phone with you, that's handy. I don't always have my phone with me, so that's one reason to carry your phone with you. Oh, that's handy. Yeah. Okay, so token based, again, that's something you have. We're used to this with a PIN. So if we want to withdraw money from our account, we have to have our card and our PIN number. Something I have, something I know. We're not going to talk about the weaknesses in the card authentication now, but in Europe it's chip and PIN, and it's that the chip is more secure than the card. It's not as easily stolen. And all right, so let me just do a couple more token based. We're used to cards and pins. There's a few other things. Sometimes you'll get a table. What? Yeah, that would be like the card or something else. The government has one where they stick their card in. I don't know, is that RFID? It is a token, yeah. I'm trying to get into the cheap stuff. So fancy cards, yeah, this is like government stuff. At the government, you put in your card into your computer, and then that you still have to log in, username and password. Oh, wow. Crazy. Okay, well, they're having fun. No. It's pretty awesome. All right, this is the last. This is kind of a cheap one. So sending a text to your phone is great. They can also send it. This is for like people that don't have a phone at all. On your statement, it'll just have like rows and columns. You have A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you log in, they'll say, you know, tell me what was put in C2. And then you type the value into some field at the same time as your username and your password. So table of values, that's something you have. This is sort of state-of-the-art stuff. Because you just got to assume nowadays that most people's email addresses have been, or most people's usernames and passwords are just not that secure. All right, there's still more token-based stuff. What? You better be paranoid. I'm paranoid myself. The worst part is the passwords are, like you can change it, but it's so many to remember. It's really a good idea to get the password manager. Have you ever seen one of those? The password manager you have, I'll just tell you. Password manager. This is just a program that will be like a secure store on your computer. So it might be on your PC, or you can do this in the cloud, which is also not bad. Secure meaning they use 256K. They use really long keys. Okay, they usually 256 to be the minimum. And what it is you have a master password. This is why it's useful when it's on your PC. Your master password is the key. So you pick a really crazy, like good password that's going to make it all the way up to 256 bits. Follow me here? Nice long password, really good long password. And then that unlocks this password store. But the password manager will then create random long passwords for you. So they're literally gobbledygook. They're not going to be in any list. It's just a completely random. And so if you want a 16 character, it'll just be like 7MZ $USDL. I mean, it's just completely random, a huge long character. And they store those in the store, and they're encrypted. So you store it with the username and the website name in the secure store. And then they have automatic stuff that will fill in the fields for you on a lot of sites. I mean, it's just like, in Firefox or whatever, you can say store this password. It works the same way as that, and it'll just pop it out for you. That's a password manager. You should do that. That's the ones that these guys go through all those huge passwords, and they're like, well, we've identified 99% of them. And the ones that are left, we just have to assume it's someone using this stuff. Those are the ones that are literally unbreakable. I don't know if it would do that. Yeah, that would be really cool. But the thing you get here is it does a different password for each site. And so if some site gets hacked, you can go in and say, okay, I need to change that password, but now the other ones aren't affected. It's not like now where, We like to say we don't use the same password, but sometimes we do. All right, so a couple more tokens. You all have heard of biometric authentication. The goal here is we can authenticate. This is on something that is part of you. Okay. Fingerprints. You guys have your iPhones that unlock with the fingerprints? Those are actually pretty easy to fake. Even the iPhone one does really good job because it goes deeper, like supposedly scans the dermal layer. So it doesn't actually scan the surface. You've seen those spy movies where they had like, hey, we need to fake this guy's fingerprint. And they're like, okay, he grabbed this glass, and then they steal away the glass, right? And you're like, nah. But that is exactly how it works. Like you can literally go and get the piece of tape and get the fingerprint off the tape and hold the tape over the fingerprint scanner, and because it's a scanner, right? Oh yeah. And then the oil. Yeah. So just remember, this is a scanner that reads the light. So yeah, literally, yeah, your thumbprint's already on that spot, and so the one for the iPhone, they have to do like a laser or a 3D printed version of your thumb, but it can totally be done. All they have to do is get a hold of your fingerprint. So fingerprint is pretty common. So people tried to do an iris scan, and this one is actually even worse. This iris scan is the colored part of your eye. I'm just going to tell you, by the way, none of these work right. So this is the colored part of your eye, and you can fool this with a picture. You think it's that hard to get a hold of what the colored part of your eye looks like? That's even easier than a fingerprint, right? They just take a picture of you. Now, a retina scan, this is what they were using in Minority Report. That's a lot harder. This is the back of your eye. The problem with this one is it's very expensive. You have to hold still, look in front of the retina scanner. So retina scan is really good. There's voice recognition. You ever heard that? My voice is my password. This one is, like I used to be able, when I would answer the phone, people would always say, hello, Ed. That's not my name, that's my father's name. So it's fooled by, just say, close relatives. That one's really easy to fool. And I would actually bet that if you recorded someone's voice, you could fake them making some phrase too. And then the last one people would like to use is face recognition. And it's getting better. So we'll put here slightly. Oops. It is slightly better than useless. Because the problem with face recognition is if you turn your head to the side, it doesn't even recognize you. So not only can someone fake your picture by just taking a picture of you and holding it up in front of this thing, if you turn to the side, you aren't going to get in. That was the other problem with voice recognition. You'd be like, my name is my password, and if you had a cold, it'd be like, oh, sorry, can't get in, you're stuck. We also are worried, remember the fingerprints, if your thumb gets swollen, or if any of you have ever had psoriasis where your skin kind of dries up, you get a funny sore. That would suck to not be able to get onto your phone because of that, right? They were mad, by the way, that Apple was just doing a fingerprint straight, and they wanted them to say a two-factor, right, where it was scan your finger, type in your code, but nobody wants to type in their code, right? So that's biometrics. So this is a token, and again, a biometric is that something you're carrying with you. Maybe they'll get DNA soon, and then people will swab whatever you just carried.